welcome everyone to the People's House.
Mr. Speaker, will you please call the House to order?
The bill is passed.
We want to make sure that we make New York a more affordable place to live, a better place to raise a family. Welcome to Assembly Update. I am Assembly Member Angelo Santa Barbara, representing the 111th Assembly District, which includes Montgomery County, parts of Albany County, and parts of Schenectady County. I have a great show today. Our guest is John Henley, who is the Executive Vice President of Northern Rivers Family Services. Welcome.
Correct.
Welcome, John. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
As I was looking at some of the information on Northern Rivers Family Services, that is really a parent organization.
That's right.
As we just talked about before the show started here. Why don't we hear a little bit about yourself and how
Sure.
you got involved with the organization and about the Northern Rivers Family Services.
Sure. Maybe we can weave all that together in a little bit of a story.
Yeah.
I came here to back up a little bit. I've been here for about 3 years in the Capital District, and I came from the Syracuse area to take the position as the CEO of Northeast Parent and Child Society somewhere in January, February of 2010. Had worked in Syracuse for a number of years and been in the field for a number of years. Was very pleased to come to Schenectady and very pleased to be asked to take up the leadership role at Northeast Parent and Child Society. At the time, however, of my appointment, one of the issues the board advised me of was some conversations that had been going on, very informal conversations with another agency, and in this Parsons Child and Family Services in Albany. And frankly, one of the issues that they broached with me as we discussed me taking up this role was the idea of further discussions on an affiliation, which I said with great enthusiasm, that's a tremendous idea, because the idea was one that I could quickly see, and I know our board had seen, would benefit children and families.
Yep.
So I was appointed in 2010 to the position. We immediately, amongst other things, started discussions, board between Parsons Child and Family Center in Albany and Northeast Parent and Child Society. Over the course of the year, really went through a process of evaluating the benefits and frankly, the risks of this kind of an affiliation and what form this affiliation would take. The end result is what you have in front of you, this description of 3 agencies that came together.
Yep.
It's not a merger, but it's the closest thing to a merger you can have. And the structure is really very simple when you take the legalese out of it. There's a parent organization and 2 affiliates. The parent organization is Northern Rivers Family Services, and the 2 affiliates are Parsons and Northeast, which still maintain their role, their corporate structure, their state approval as not-for-profits. But they now have one sole member, which is the Northern Rivers Family Services. Practically speaking, the way this is organized is that Northern Rivers has all the back office functions, the usual suspects, HR, information technology, training. The affiliates, Parsons and Northeast, have all the client services. So all the services that people have identified over the years with us, respectively, still reside in those 2 affiliates.
And Northeast Parent and Child has been in downtown Schenectady, right near my district office.
Sure.
And it still remains there.
Sure it does.
So as far as locations, and Parsons I know is in the Albany area.
Correct.
So nothing has changed as far as where
Right.
offices are located. And what is the area that your services cover? I mean, you got locations in various parts of the Capital District. How far out do we cover?
Do we go?
Yeah,
it's a good question, and it's a little farther than since we've come together than originally it was for either one of the affiliates. But I must say, most people are familiar with both agencies. The people of Schenectady, of course, have known Northeast Parent and Child for a long time, as have the people of Albany known Parsons. Both agencies have served the Capital District. I would define as the 3 major counties, Rensselaer, Albany County, and Schenectady County. But certainly over the past maybe 10 years have branched out up and down the Hudson a little bit and a little bit farther west toward the central New York area. With the 2 affiliates coming together, actually now 3 agencies coming together, I would say that a good description is we go as far west as Binghamton, we go as far north as Malone, and we go as far south, we're down in Hudson, the Catskill area. So it's a pretty broad sweep.
It's a very big area, and
Yeah.
I imagine there's a lot going on in that area.
There certainly is.
Amongst we talked about the services. Amongst some of the services, what are you finding is the biggest challenge for the organization since the affiliation has come together? Has there been some things that have gotten better, some things that still need work, or some things where community has sort of changed the mission?
Well, I think the mission has remained constant. One of the reasons, by the way, when we first sat down to talk about this, I'm glad you mentioned the mission, is the mission of both those agencies was virtually the same. The wording is somewhat different, but it's to provide better services to children and families at high risk who are vulnerable, who are in need. Both agencies have historically served children who have experienced great trauma. We often talk about abuse and neglect. I'm certain that everybody who walks these halls are familiar with these issues because the state of New York has been so involved in this over the years. In families who are at risk and who are in crisis and who experience emotional turmoil and familial turmoil because of social problems, basically. So the mission has stayed the same, the need has stayed the same. Certainly two of the issues that we're all grappling with is funding for these services. Nothing new in that. One of the reasons we did this is not only can we provide better service, but eventually we can do it at a lower cost, and then there's an economy of scale.
Yeah.
And that has been welcomed by the community. Generally speaking, whenever we went out, Ray Schimmer, who is the CEO of Northern Rivers, former CEO of Parsons, when he and I went out to talk to the general community in all these places that I just mentioned, the business community, the service community, the children and families who we serve, universally, I'd say it was accepted as a good thing because people caught on to the idea very quickly that they could get more comprehensive service. But people from the business community and the general community who understand our services to some degree but don't deal with it every day also understood that the economies of scale and people coming together was a good move for our families, for our counties, and for the state.
So certainly it's been a great partnership, is what we can call it. What are some of the challenges you're facing now with the community? Are you finding that is there easier access to the services, or has there been some challenges?
Well, there certainly are some challenges. One of the things I learned when I went out to some of those outlying communities, and if I can quote Tip O'Neill, a former politician, all politics, I'll paraphrase, he said all politics are local, all services are local. So one of the challenges, especially as you get outside Albany, Schenectady, Troy, the Tri-City area, is that in all the communities that we serve are vastly different. Rural counties with a small population are different than Albany and Schenectady counties, say. They all have different structures, some different socioeconomic problems and different financial issues that they're dealing with. And yet they all need services tailored to their community. We have offices in these communities because we are local providers. We employ local people. We need to partner with them on local problems. So the larger we get and the more counties we deal with, counties are our primary customers, the more partners we have. And we have to individualize our service to each one of those communities to make sure that we're not imposing our idea of what should be done, but we're really hearing from them.
Yeah.
This is really, this whole experiment with a large non-for-profit corporation is a public-private partnership. And I can say that with all candor and with absolutely no irony, that when we come together with public partners, usually county government, usually school districts, and in some cases directly with the state, we have to view this as a partnership. So one of the challenges is reading correctly what the challenges of each distinct community are and making sure we tailor those services to meet their needs, not what we think should be done.
That's great. It's great to hear about partnerships that really work well like that.
Yeah.
Certainly the organization has changed, but the services are still there.
Right, correct.
And speaking of the services, how does the public approach the organization? How do they receive these services? What's the process?
That's a very good question, and for a lot of people who need services, we often get calls directly from parents and families who need services. There's a number of avenues to get service. As I mentioned earlier, we contract with different government entities, and that's the most comprehensive way people get services. And so if we're in Schenectady County, many of the folks we serve actually come to us through services that are originally offered by the county government. County Department of Social Services or the County Probation Department will refer families and youngsters to us. And so in many instances, it's not directly coming to us. It's going using your local town or county government services to access us. Having said that, there are some services that we offer directly to the public, and I'll give you one good example in Schenectady, in our home county. We offer a service called the Child Guidance Clinic. It is a mental health outpatient clinic for children and families, primarily for children who are experiencing problems, from 8 to actually 21. And we are especially for people who haven't got private therapists or who are receiving some government aid to help pay for these services, Medicaid, for instance. Yeah. We are it. So we're right down there on Franklin Street, as you mentioned, right near you. And people can come directly to us, and we encourage people. So if families are having difficulty, especially with children who are experiencing severe emotional problems or mental health problems or familial problems, they can come directly to us. And we try to make that as easy for them as we possibly can. The reason we moved to downtown Schenectady was for that reason. So that clinic is right there on the second floor of our building.
And it's a great location, and I think that everybody knows that it's there, which is good.
Good.
And I've been to a lot of events there, a lot of things that I've toured the building as well. One thing, a brochure that I think it was may have been last year. A lot of success stories come out of there.
They sure do.
In all parts of the community, people that have access to services, and it's really made a difference in their lives.
Well, thank you. We believe in that, and that's what sustains us and keeps us going. Even as we struggle through the funding issues, we manage to do it, and we do it in partnership with government as everyone's trying to struggle through this. But our board of directors has been committed to this. And you mentioned success stories. I'm going to mention one other service. Yeah. I mentioned the counseling service. Also in that building is an extremely unique and innovative career development program, developed in this case for Schenectady County. We hope to export it to some other areas soon. Not limited to any particular population, but geared toward young men and women 18 through 21 who have been unsuccessful in school and don't have great prospects for a career or a job. It's the Career Development Center that we have on the first floor. This is a great partnership because there was absolutely no government funding for this at all originally, and there still isn't, other than local governments, people who are willing to give us money through fundraising, using existing mechanisms like Metroplex, who helped us in Schenectady, build this center. And we train young men and women for sustainable careers, not just a job, but sustainable careers. We've identified about 4 or 5 of them and had some great success stories with that. And if we can break the cycle of poverty and the cycle of dysfunction that some people have been exposed to, and get them to a position where they're healthy in their self-concept, healthy in their economic, they're viable in their economic futures and their job futures. That is how we break a lot of these cycles. So, great success.
And it's a lot about opening up opportunity.
Exactly.
Giving people a chance to show them what they can do and point them in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And it is making a difference. And looking through your brochures and your books, and you can see everybody's individual story, and it really is. It's nice to read.
Thank you.
And speaking of which, I know there's a lot of information on the organization, a lot of brochures, a lot of pamphlets.
Right.
You have a website.
Yes.
Let's give out some contact information just in case there's something we don't talk about. Is there a website that we can?
Well, there is, actually, and it's funny you should mention that because we have 3 organizations now. It's a little confusing. Northeast Parent and Child Society and Parsons Child and Family Center have had websites for the last 15 or 20 years, as long as the web has existed. Yesterday, we had the pleasure of launching our new website for Northern Rivers.
Oh, perfect timing.
northernrivers.org.
Perfect.
You can go to northernrivers.org and see our brand new developed website, which gives an overview of who Northern Rivers is, who we are as a new corporation, as a new entity, as a new affiliation. And on that website, actually, are portals to both of the websites of both Parsons and Northeast. People can also just go on and northeastparentandchild.org or parsons.org will get them to either of the respective websites. We have on those websites we have a number of phone numbers too that people can call for different services, and that's very, very important because if people actually, other than seeing some of the nice graphics, people can actually see some of the services we have, and there'll be corresponding phone numbers to call for a mental health clinic, career development services, family counseling, whatever the service might be. I think it's a great portal, and we welcome phone calls, and we will advise anybody who needs help, whether they can come directly through us or it's a service they have to approach their local county about, for instance. We'll shepherd them through that.
Okay, and so if they happen to come in and there's another way to do it, you can direct them.
Yeah.
The phone, the website, also, if people know where the office is, they're free to come in and...
Absolutely, we welcome people to do that. I'm going to mention that our address in Schenectady is 530 Franklin Street. We're right down there.
Yeah.
We're near you, near City Hall. In Albany, it's 60 Academy Road.
Okay.
Many people in the community know about us, but I'm happy to have this opportunity to get those locations out to folks, because we will help people in any way we can. Phone calls, website, or walking in off the street. We'll make sure we sit down with people and give them, we'll navigate them to the place they need to be.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing that information with us. We're going to take a short break. John, thank you for being here. We're going to talk more about Northern Rivers Family Services when we return.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in-your-face pep talk.
I can keep pushing. Believe me, I'm good at it.
Once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell him.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? He needs something a little more
Persuasive.
Yes.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything,
You too.